Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Wheeler Report. I'm your host, Commissioner Ritch Wheeler, and I want to thank you for joining me as we kick off this new way to connect with our community. This show is about keeping you informed. It's about having honest conversations and giving you a closer look at the work done through Montgomery County. Work that affects your neighborhoods, your roads, your parks, your families, and your daily life. When I stepped into office, one of the biggest priorities was increasing accessibility, collaboration, and transparency. Government shouldn't be something that only happens at meetings and behind desks. It should be accessible. It should be understandable, and most importantly, it should feel connected to the people it serves. That's why the Wheeler Report was created, to bring you into the conversation and to highlight the people and partnerships that make this community great. Today, for our very first episode, we have as our guest Chairman Brad Bailey of the Woodlands Township. We're going to get into a conversation with Chairman Bailey here in just a little bit, but before we do that, I wanted to get into a quick update of some things going on around the precinct that we want to make you aware of. Around the precinct, you probably will notice that we've been doing some intersection improvements. So far, we've completed Research Forest Drive and Green Bridge Drive, Lake Woodlands Drive and East Panther Creek, Grogan's Mill and Research Forest, Grogan's Mill and Lake Woodlands, Rayford Road and East Bender's Landing. We've done some asphalt shoulder replacements at Cochran's Crossing Drive, Flint Ridge Drive, John Cooper Drive, Kirkendall Drive, Bay Branch Drive, North Panther Creek Drive, North Milburn Drive, South Milburn Drive, Grogan's Mill Road. We did a Rayford S Curve high friction surface treatment project. Many of y'all know that as the Mario Kart. That was where we put the overlay on there that makes it a lot safer. And then we also did a full asphalt replacement on Pruitt and Booty Road, where we also widened the road and put in an additional right-hand turn lane. Several other road pavement rehabilitation projects, and then towards the end of the episode, we'll get into some future projects that we have coming up that I think you guys are going to be excited about. But since we have him here, let's go into our guest speaker, or at least our guest. So, for our very first episode, I'm proud to welcome someone who plays a major role in the shaping of the future of the Woodlands, Brad Bailey, who is chairman of the Woodlands Township Board. Brad was just re-elected and is now beginning his second term as chairman. This will be your last term, though, correct?
My last term, correct.
Because you are moving on to
State representative,
I'm sure, our state representative for HD 15 here in the state of Texas. He's been a strong advocate for the community development, public safety, and strategic growth here in the Woodlands, and I'm excited for you to hear directly from Brad today. How are we doing today, Brad?
Hey, bud. Good to see you, man.
Yeah,
the first Wheeler Report. I'm feel honored to be your guest, and funny thing is, my mom's maiden name is Wheeler, so my grandparents were Wheelers. So hey, we might be related in some way, shape, or fashion.
We have a great connection. Every time I see your mom, we call each other cousins.
All right, there you go.
Well, thank you for being here. As I said before, we wanted to make sure we had one of our best guests first, so we kicked this thing off with a bang. Chairman Bailey does a lot, not only around the Woodlands, but around Montgomery County as a whole, especially here in South Montgomery County. And not only that, but you work for
Waste Connections
in their government.
I run their government relations for them. That we're in 46 states, 6 provinces of Canada, and the third largest waste disposal company in the United States. So,
but he focuses mostly on Texas. So
mostly on Texas, exactly.
So his day job actually does help his side gig as his state rep when it comes up. Okay, so let's go through a couple questions. We have just a couple easy, let you guys get to know Commissioner Bailey. Okay.
Chairman Bailey.
Chairman Bailey, not Commissioner. Ooh,
I don't want to do all those roads.
I'm predicting something for the future.
I don't want to do all those roads projects you just talked about. Wow.
Okay, so for those who may not know your background, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to get involved with the Woodlands Township. I don't even know if I've ever asked you this question.
Okay. Well, I grew up down in the Clear Lake area. I was actually on city council for 3 terms in the city of Nassau Bay. So I've always kind of been a political junkie. I was that kid that used to watch C-SPAN. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
Crazy. Turn on Fox News.
And I moved to Austin and met my wife, and we got married, and had a surprise pregnancy show up, and we said we can't have a child in downtown Austin. That's against the Constitution. So we fled to Woodlands, where her family. She was born and raised here, grew up here, and both her parents still live here. So we came here, moved here in 2014, late 2014, and I was working in the world of government relations, and I would leave the Woodlands and I'd be like so refreshed when I'd hit that flyover and come home and be like, the bubble. It just the bubble was real, and just really enjoyed it. And then the incorporation issue came up, and I said, look, I wanted to learn more about it. I thought we had a pretty unique form of government. Started kind of listening and tuning in, and it took me a little while, but I said, this is going to be pretty expensive. To build courthouses and police stations and such, public works departments. So I got active and started getting involved in the incorporation issue, and I really didn't know a lot of people here. And next thing you know, I get drafted to start running for township after that vote, and ran the year following. So I'm serving this is to be my 4th year. 2 terms have been elected to, and just really enjoyed it. I mean, when I was on city council in Nassau Bay, we actually came on a retreat to the Woodlands to look at the live, work, play, and pray model.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, we had a consultant drive us around that was one of Mr. Mitchell's early architects, and it's a fascinating place. And I think when you come from somewhere else, I think you really, really appreciate this a little bit more, because it truly is remarkable what Mr. Mitchell built, and so many people carried on. So
and I always tell folks, most politicians or elected officials, as I like to refer to them, because you start out as an elected official, not a politician, believe it or not. Most elected officials end up organically falling into politics, kind of like what you did, right?
Yeah,
you came up here, you saw what it would look like, you had people recruit you. You didn't come up here and be like, okay, what do I want to do next? And isolate out, this is what I want to go do. It's usually something that through a chain of events, sort of a series of different things that happen, you kind of land yourself in a spot where you say, oh wow, I'm in politics. But I think that usually that organic path is usually what serves the constituents the best, because that means you really want to have a heart of service. You really want to do something for them.
People that are looking for a place to run or a job to run for,
not a social club.
I get nervous about.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, that's just.
You can buy a ticket to the gala. It's not that big a deal. All right, so you've just begun your 2nd term. What are some of your priorities? What are you focused on as chairman moving forward? Now, this is let me paint a picture here, because you only have 1 year left, right?
I have 1 year. I have literally almost 1 year, a little bit less than 1 year.
And you will be involved as an elected official. But what specifically what are your long-term goals for the Woodlands that you say, I've got a year left to make sure that this happens, that I can look at the end of the runway 15, 20 years from now, and that's going to make a difference?
Right. Well, I mean, I think number one is public safety. I think you and I, we talk about it all the time.
Yep.
Sheriff Doolittle, Constable Ryan Gable. We have got a criminal element coming from Harris County into Montgomery County, and being the southernmost point of Montgomery County, we see a lot of it. And
not that we don't love Commissioner Ramsey, because we do.
Yeah, we do. No, it's not Commissioner Ramsey. They're coming from 1960 and Greens Point Mall area, and it's just it's scary, and it's a lot of the decisions that Harris County has made.
Yeah.
The cashless bail and limiting police officers. Now, I will say,
you feel like it's getting better with the pay parity and the pay raises they just
yeah,
gave?
I think it's great, but we got to give law enforcement the tools they need. Now, we just increased our budget significantly in the township with our sheriff and constable contracts.
Yep.
We invested in flock cameras all in the entrances and exits of the Woodlands. We have drones that we've invested in. We've put more officers on the streets. Just making sure that we have a safe community, because without safety, public safety, You're not going to have tourism. You're not going to have residents
Right.
wanting to move there. You're not going to have increased economic development and corporations. So it's something that's a priority for our board that we're really looking at. Number two that we're all looking at is, look, we're getting a little bit older. The Woodlands is 51 years old now.
Yeah, celebrated 50th birthday.
You're seeing some aging infrastructure. You're seeing some things that need to get addressed, maintenance. You're seeing homes get torn down and redeveloped.
Yeah.
And
sure.
making sure you have your arms around what the next type of home and type of community that's coming along. George Mitchell, that wasn't talking much about electric cars and solar panels on roofs at the time, and when this was all built. Now we're having that come out, and things are changing. So that's really important.
So understanding that, what do you want to do in this next year to plan for that next 50 years? Like, public safety? Yes, of course. I think we do that every year. What do you say to yourself? This is something that I really want to put on the horizon that we need to be ready for.
I really think economic development is a big one for us. We're blessed. We have more Fortune 500 corporate headquarters located in the Woodlands than 4 other states. That's a blessing.
That's big.
But however, we're losing businesses from the Woodlands, not because they don't like the Woodlands or something we've done wrong or it's not safe. We're losing because of mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
And Exhibit A is Anadarko.
Yeah.
Anadarko had those 2 towers at 45 in Woodlands Parkway, and poof,
Yeah,
they were
got bought
gone
out, yep.
because they got bought off and they went to Harris County for Oxy.
Right.
So how are we going in and replenishing that and telling the story and going out and recruiting the best and the brightest to come here? I think that is really, really important. And I'll give you an example. The company that I'm blessed to work with, I just joined them 9 months ago. But in 2012, they came from California. They were outside Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
They came to the Woodlands as a $1 billion company, $1 billion company. Fast forward to today, we're over $10 billion company, investing millions of dollars into our community and nonprofits, from Interfaith to the Montgomery County Food Bank to Meals on Wheels and the like. Doing a tremendous amount. Our employees live here. They love what we have here. So
that's the key right there.
But
is this where you want to be? Is this what you want to call home? And I think we've created an environment where businesses say, this is where we want to call home.
Right. And we have more people coming into the Woodlands today in the morning than commuting out. And that was a flip from when Mr. Mitchell was alive and started. And that's a wonderful thing. A lot of people that work at our company or work in the Woodlands live in your precinct. They might live in across the freeway. They might live in Shenandoah, and all that. My boss lives in Shenandoah.
I have tons of friends that live over in like the Bender's Landing estate area, Bender's Landing, and they commute in for work over here.
So it's a regional hub. We're working hand in hand with Jevin Gibb and the Economic Development Partnership, but we've got to understand that it's a competitive environment that we're in right now. Other states are getting very, very active. Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, at recruiting businesses. How are we telling our story?
Right.
And we can't just rely on Houston to do it.
Yep.
We've got to go tell our own unique story. So
we talk about that a lot. Is how are we messaging our story?
So that's important. We're also looking at one thing is as a public safety issue that we recently passed in our township. Cell phone coverage in the Woodlands. Cell phone coverage is the worst. I mean, I drop calls all the time because we can't have cell towers. Look, I get it. Cell towers aren't neat, but now modern day, you can make a cell tower look like a tree.
A tree. I just had this conversation.
So we're going to have, we just passed it, we're going out to RFP now to have 10 cell towers constructed throughout the Woodlands in these areas that all the cell companies are dead areas.
These are towers that the township will pay for and then you'll lease to a provider?
No, we sign an agreement with the provider. They lease the land from us and pay us an annual rent. That would be in 10 different spots in 10 different areas. They have to look like trees.
They have to look like trees. I love that.
And number 2 is they also have to have natural gas generator backup. So think about it. I mean, I don't know about you, Rich. I don't have a landline. This is it. So when a hurricane hits or an ice freeze hits, and power goes down, they have battery backups on a lot of those cell towers. And when they run out, which is about 10 hours, then it's dead. So that's a public safety issue. If people can't get calls or receive calls,
that's great.
So it'll majorly change things. It'll also bring in revenue, zero cost to the taxpayer, and actually bring in revenue that can help.
Factor.
Yeah, the lease factor. So
we need to see if we can start duplicating that all over Montgomery County.
Yeah,
We
I
need
mean,
to figure
because
out a way. You know what? We need to figure out a way to duplicate y'all's contract with Montgomery County, and because we have county-owned land that we can do the same thing with.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
So you and I get to work together often. That's super cool, by the way. I enjoy working with Brad. What role does collaboration between the township and the county play in serving residents effectively?
Oh, everything. Collaboration is so key. The way the Woodlands was created, and it was a brilliant model of, it's like I say, it's a wheel. If one of the spokes is broken, everything breaks down.
Are you telling me that wheel at Grogan's Mill and Woodlands Park, that represents me? That was
there
for
you go.
me?
That was for you. That was for you. Yeah, we're gonna put you on there. But no, it's. I mean,
put my face on there.
that's a road utility district project, not a Woodlands project.
Not precinct 3
but when
either.
when it finishes, it'll be nice.
It'll be
but
awesome.
no, but we have so much collaboration from the sheriff's department to the roads, all the roads in the roads project you work with, and how we work on traffic and mobility and lights. I mean, we talked the other day. We have a problem right now with a lot of people running red lights.
Yep.
And you're seeing more and more traffic accidents happen. And but from that to working on county things and working on state issues, we're always. I talk to you 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
I talk to your staff a lot. So working together, always looking out on what's coming is really important. And you know, we're one county. Economic development, like I talked about earlier, public safety. It doesn't stop at a township boundary.
Right.
It goes
That's right.
all across the county, and we've got to look out after Montgomery County.
You know, you and I talk about it all the time. Our listeners probably haven't heard us talk about it, but the township does have a very unique model. If you think about the way a city works, and I used to be the mayor for the city of Shenandoah, so I was pretty familiar with this. You think about the way a city works, basically everything within the city limit boundaries, the city is responsible for, they pay for, right? So police, in some cases fire, water, all the roads, all the street lights. Obviously, the biggest portion of the budget is public safety, which is police. When you get to something like the township, like you said, collaborates with the county. So the county pays for a lot of those roads, the signals. Now the township picks up a big tab for what we would call police or the sheriff's
Enhanced
department.
police.
It's enhanced public safety, which I think is great, and the residents love it. But so that model is a little bit different than your average city, right? And so that reduces that tax burden on the residents because they don't pay a city tax. But it is kind of a challenging dance from a county perspective to try to be able to pay for all that stuff. Most people don't know this, and again, we've talked about it, but 82% of Montgomery County is what's called unincorporated, means not within a city limit. And so that means that the county is paying for all those services. Here in Precinct 3, it's 96.5% unincorporated. Now, obviously, the Woodlands makes up a big chunk of that, and so they are paying some of those bills. But when you think about how much the county services off of just that county property tax, it is definitely, it's an interesting budget to try to negotiate your way through.
Yeah, and public safety. Public safety. But if you look at how we handle public safety.
What percentage of y'all's budget is public safety?
Oh, geez, 20%, maybe.
Okay.
20%.
But that's 20% over and above.
Over and above.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
So yeah, I mean, so for example, we're about 130,000 people. Very similar square foot or square mileage than the Conroe. Conroe's about 130,000, almost the same geographic footprint. They spend over $50 million on public safety, and we spend a little bit over $20 million.
Yeah.
But I think we get great public safety.
Yeah, your $20 million is a tack on to the counties.
Yeah.
So you think about how much. I tell people all the time in Montgomery County, we spend 53% of our budget goes to catching bad guys and putting bad guys away. So that's between law enforcement and the judicial system. And so then you tack on another 20% for the township. That's a lot of money being spent on public safety.
It is, but
which is great. It's important. It's the most important.
It is.
So, okay, what else do we have here? So here we go. Finally, what's one thing you want the people of the Woodlands to know as you begin? It says this new term, but I'll say this new term, and then I'll even say as you venture off into your next exciting chapter.
Yeah, on the township, you know, one thing we're looking at is looking at doing a performing arts center. something that we're looking at. Another thing we're looking at right now and doing a deep dive in is our convention center. Our convention centers, we're blessed to have the pavilion and a lot of different conventions that come to town, but it's becoming a much more competitive environment. And we got to look at how we can possibly expand our convention center,
That's a good idea.
and how we can add a hotel, a luxury hotel to it is something that we've also researched. So we're looking at some economic, or some development opportunities in and around that town center area. And Performing Arts Center is one that plays into it. One thing I'm really excited about, we just went out to RFP on, is looking at doing a 9-hole par 3 golf course.
I saw that. That was in the
yeah.
last meeting. That's
Public
awesome.
golf course that is not private. You don't have to join a country club, but it'll have lights that you can play at night. It'll have a lit up driving range. We spent a tremendous amount of money on turf fields and all that, and I think we've checked that box. But how can we offer something else to other people? It's hiking and biking trails.
Yep.
We cannot build pickleball courts fast enough. But I can tell you, looking at adding some new amenities and that par 3 lit up golf is going to be something I think that's really important.
Most people don't know this, but the Woodlands, correct me if I'm wrong, the Woodlands does not have a public golf course.
Nope.
They're all private.
Yeah.
And where's the closest? You play a lot more golf than I do. Where's the closest public golf course? At Woodforest?
Woodforest is country club now.
It's not semi-private anymore?
Nope, it's
Wow,
private now.
See, tells you how long. You don't get to play golf when you're the commissioner. I'm too busy.
Yeah, and I'm too busy if you're
Yeah.
chairman, so I don't get to play very often.
Where's the closest?
I think maybe 30, 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, so
Everything's
this would be great for residents to have somewhere to go and be able to at least go play, a little bit of golf. It's a 9-hole, but
it's a 9-hole, but it's
yeah.
walkable. It'll be
Yeah.
lit up at night. So in August, you can play at nighttime
Yeah,
and
that's
not.
cool. And not sweat
yeah.
to death.
And there'll be, a component like a clubhouse for restaurant opportunities. So that's something that we're really excited about. But, just making sure we upkeep the level of community that we've all grown and loved. We moved here for a reason. Looking at that. So as I transition, we got a lot on our plate that we're working on right now for this last 11 months. But looking at state rep, I'm running unopposed in the Republican primary next November, next March, which is great.
So you'll have somebody in the general in November, but not in the primary.
Correct.
in March.
But the HD 15 district almost.
It's like 85% Republican.
Yeah.
So
no, but it goes right over your district,
yeah,
precinct
for
3.
Sure. Yeah. It's almost
So there's a
exact.
lot of issues that we're
Yeah.
seeing, and you bring up the sales tax that's collected in South County that is in unincorporated areas. That all just goes to the state and stays there. That's something that we need to look at because I've spent a lot of time out in Benders and Imperial Oaks and all of those areas and seeing how they operate. They need some resources dedicated to that for public safety and transportation and the
100%.
like. So
100%.
that's something I really want to work on.
And we can't just keep putting it on the taxpayers' back, increasing property taxes to pay for it. It's not fair to them.
No.
So we've got to look for other funding sources, and we've talked about it already, but I think that's a great revenue
I tell you
source.
something that's really interesting. We talk all the time, but I don't think I've talked to you about this yet. But Lieutenant Governor Patrick came out with a plan for property tax
Reducing
reduction.
property taxes.
But it was
all that.
real interesting.
Yeah.
He took he's doing the homestead exemption route and expanding the senior exemption from 65 to 55.
Yeah, look, I'm a little bit offended by that because I'm not that far away from 55, and if he starts calling me a senior, I mean, he's not getting my next vote.
There we go.
Well, Brad, thanks for being here today. Let's go through a couple of quick upcoming projects, just so our listeners know what's on the horizon for Precinct 3. I'm kind of excited about some of the stuff we have coming up. Woodlands Parkway at Branch Crossing, we're going to do a turn lane extension, so be looking for that. That'll get some traffic through that intersection. Research Forest Drive and Gosling Road intersection improvements. We'll be doing some intersection improvements there as well. That's a busy intersection. I travel through that one a lot. Lake Woodlands Drive and Gosling Road intersection improvements there. We'll be doing Woodlands Parkway at Kirkendall. I feel like maybe I've already said some of these. So maybe some of these are ones that we've already done. Hold on. I think I lost my page here on which ones are upcoming and which ones aren't. No, they just all have check marks next to them. We've got a lot of stuff coming up is what it is. Let's see, Grogan's Mill Road at Grogan's Mill Village Center. Oh, we're going to put back in the left-hand turn lane coming out of Grogan's Mill Village.
Thank God.
So when you leave Grogan's Mill Village, you'll be able to take that left-hand turn and go back into Town Center. Had a lot of folks ask for that. Grogan's Mill Road at North Mill Bend Drive. We're going to do an intersection improvement there. And then we have some more shoulder replacements coming. Research Forest Drive, Woodlands Parkway, Lake Woodlands Drive. And then we've got some rehabbing and repaving. Champion Lake Subdivision. We did that one already. Actually, we did the Champions Lake. Have you been over there and looked at that?
I have not.
It's a neat little neighborhood, and we were able to go back and redo their roads, and man, it looks great over there. In design, we have some traffic signal replacements coming. These are some big ones I'm excited about. Robinson Road widening project. So you know Oak Ridge North.
It's needed.
Oak Ridge North redid the intersection at Robinson Road and Hannah, and they put in a signal there. They've just been waiting on the railroad, but I think that's just about all done with the crossings. So what we're going to do is we're going to take from that intersection where they finished their work, we're going to go all the way out to Imperial Oaks with 4 lanes almost all the way out. And that's going to really alleviate a lot of that traffic for those folks. And then for the folks over in Benders and Spring Trails and Harmony and that area over there that we were talking about, we've got an eastbound Grand Parkway frontage road widening product where we're going to add some turn lanes, a dedicated right-hand turn lane, and we're going to put in a dedicated right-hand turn lane just prior to Rayford Road, one at Benders, and then Burnham Woods is going to get a dedicated right-hand turn lane, and then we're going to do one at Discovery Creek Boulevard. That's right in front of the HEB over there.
Okay.
And it's a nice big 4-lane road, so we're going to put a right-hand turn lane, take Discovery Creek down to Rayford, and then we're going to put a signal there so folks can actually, instead of going up to that turn right there at HEB, they can actually take that right-hand turn. They'll be protected by that signal, and we can flow all of that traffic down into that Benders area. That'll be a neat project. So, man, a lot of great things coming in Precinct 3. Stay tuned. We're going to do these, I think we said once a month. We're going to do these once a month. So I got to find who our next guest is. We got a laundry list of great folks coming up, but I won't let it out of the bag just yet. And each one of these will give you an update on what we've been doing so that you know what work we've done with your tax dollars. And then we'll give you an update on what some of the upcoming projects are so that you are aware and you know what to look for on the horizon. Brad, thank you so much for being here.
Hey man, thanks so much.
Couldn't have
Appreciate
asked for a better first guest. Love to see your next and final year on as chairman on the board. It's going to be sort of bittersweet. You've been a great chairman. I know you'll leave it in capable hands because you got a great board up there. But we're really looking forward to what you can do for us at the state level as well.
Yeah, we got a lot to do this year, so we've got a laundry list of things, so be on the lookout. But I appreciate your leadership, and let me tell you, I appreciate your communication. Your team is always, I've been to town halls you've done that aren't always easy to go to because people are got different ideas or questions or concerns, but you listen to them, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things in public service is being able to listen and have dialogue. So I applaud you and your team for doing that. It's a needed change.
Well, we appreciate that. We really do. So, okay, folks, with that, we're going to end it. Thanks for tuning in for the first episode of the Wheeler Report, and we'll make sure we get the information out for the next one for you. Can't wait to see you. Thanks, everybody.